Thanks for joining. Please hit the like, hit the notifications bell, hit the subscribe button so you know when I'm dropping a video. I just like to keep it real, try to inspire, motivate individuals, or just share my journey. If you're an avid listener, you know what we're all about. That's why you're back. I appreciate you turning up. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hey yo guys, so what's up? Do you know what? It was brought to my attention today because I was talking to somebody about journaling, and I was saying how I used to journal a lot, but I don't journal as much anymore, and I should really get back into it. And they said to me, well, I guess your YouTube video is kind of like journaling, right? Because you share your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences to other people. So I was like, yo, it's got a point there. So we're journaling right now as I'm trying to inspire, motivate, and encourage some of you or one of you out there to believe that impossible is nothing and you can pretty much make anything happen if you really want it to happen. So that being said, I'm very, over the last few years, I've become a very big supporter of self-development, personal growth, and just progression in life. And as somebody who is on my own journey of self-development continuously, personal growth again continuously, and wanting to excel in areas of my life that are what I call work in progress or under construction. And this week and last week, for the last few weeks actually, for me the topic has been compassion, and compassion within myself, towards myself, and aimed at myself. But we're not really going to delve into that per se. But what we are going to delve into is the fact that I believe in life through personal growth, through self-care and such. I believe that there are certain tools, personalities, I guess, skills that one needs to start sharpening or developing in order to proceed or succeed at the next stage. It's almost like when you interview for a specific role, and when you check out the job specification of this role that you want to go for, there are essential skills, there are desirable skills, and then there's also the job specification, what the role entails. So where do your strengths lie, where do your weaknesses lie, and we like to sometimes try and spice up the CV to try and make it look like we've got these skills so that we can get the job, and sometimes we get away with it, right? And we're quick learners, so we'll learn on the job. And with life, I guess you're always learning on the job, but we're not always quick learners, or sometimes we try our best to get all the top skills, all the skills or the accolades or the certificates that people will see from the offset, the successful job, the beautiful house, the nice car, the fancy clothes, or the physical appearance, and yeah, these qualities are, these things are earned by qualities like hard work, consistency, adaptation, I hope, visualization, of where you see yourself and what you see yourself having, and hopefully getting that, right? But there are also other skills within you that can be the essential skills that we don't think are the essential skills. And these could be the things that are limiting you or slowing you down. Lack of these skills, should I say, could be limiting you or slowing you down to get to this goal that you really want to get. But you think the stuff that you already have should be enough to get you to where you're going. But I believe there are some aspects of your life or of the journey that require specialized skills that you have to know. These are the essential, these are the essential and not the desired. Sometimes, and some of you may disagree, and that's totally fine. You're allowed to disagree. But I think sometimes when you've got all those surface stuff that people can see, they're like the desired skills on a CV. They're like the stuff that would be cool to have, right? Because who doesn't want a guy or a girl who's got quote unquote their shit together with the things that they can see? They look after themselves so they look physically pleasing to the eye, so that to them sees them as being healthy. They've got all these commodities and stuff, so you feel like there is a level of security. And if they it's unlikely that they may become in a financial unstable situation or whatever because they've got shit. So it looks like they've got their shit together, right? But I think sometimes these are desired skills because you can meet somebody in your life, either romantically or platonically or business wise or whatever, or just on your walk of life. And they've got all those desired skills, right? But when you start to sit down and speak to them, you realize that the essential skills are not quite there. Compassion, maybe empathy, maybe self-motivation, maybe emotional intelligence, maybe the way they articulate themselves, the way they see things, their thought process, their when their back's against the wall, how do they handle it? How do they compose themselves in a public place? What are they like with conflict? What are these people like with whatever? Do you know what I mean? Like essentials, what you would define for yourself as essential skills, right? They might lack these things because they've never really needed to use those things because they've got through with desired skills, right? And let's face it, if it ain't broke, some people are like, don't fix it, you know. But I believe when you're on the level, when you're on the journey to personal growth, self development, and the key word there is development of self, and a growth because you want to grow. You don't really, nobody really wants to stay in the same place forever, you know. When you're on this journey, it is great to sharpen the things that you're already good at, as they say, iron sharpen iron and everything. So it's great. But like in the gym, yeah, it's a long time since I threaded a gym situation there, right? But like in the gym, as much as it's great to work on your abs because you've got abs, or to work on your biceps because you've already got biceps, or to work on your back or whatever because those muscles are apparent and pow in your face. What about the other muscle groups that aren't doing so? They ain't looking as strong, like legs, your quads and your calves. What about those? Your forearms, what's going on there? Why are you not working on those as much as you work on the ones that are already there? Like those guys, they need working out, but not as hard as the other guys because you want to be a total package, don't you? You don't want to be just you don't want to be half there. Or like one of my favorite films, Apocalypto, you don't want to be called almost because you almost had everything that was beneficial for you. I think sometimes when, and again, I'm going to use a gym again, when you're working on the muscle groups that already look fantastic, you're working on it because that's what you want people to see. It takes their attention away from the fact that you skip leg day, or it takes their attention away from the fact that your biceps look massive, but what's popping with those forearms though, you know. And I think when you've got these things outside in the real world, you know, like the nice house and the good clothes and always looking fresh, and the haircuts and the hair looks great and the nails look fantastic and all that jazz, I think it kind of takes people's attention away from what's really going on inside. What are the other stuff that you really need to work on? I was told I'm a very good speaker, you know, and I'm very good at delivering the message, and I'm good with my words, you know, but that's great. And I love those compliments. I really love it because, you know, it builds confidence for me a lot. But, you know, there are other things that people probably don't know. You know, for one, I may seem very empathetic, but with compassion, it's a struggle. You know, so I work on trying to get in touch with my inner child on a compassionate level, and you know, talk him through whatever trauma he's, well, not even whatever, the trauma that he's experienced as young. Because, you know, we as adults, we compartmentalize our thoughts, you know, and try to just move forward, you know, but we forget that there are things that are planted within us from young, you know, and like the Chinese bamboo tree, you know, throw it in there again. They grow, the roots grow down and form the foundation of how we become when we get older. So the skills that we're probably born with that are awesome, like compassion, love, vision, or you know, dedication or tenacity, you know, that we were born with that were natural, you know, like natural gifts, like the default setting on a character in a computer game. Like if you have a speedster, his natural default skill is speed, running really fast or doing stuff really fast. But as you level up in the game, you could make him stronger or whatever. You could add another ability to the arsenal, you know. But the default setting is always there first. And I feel like when we're young, we start with the default setting, but you know, through different experiences or encounters in life, different words that are spoken into us, because words hold power, both positive and negative, you know, it starts to change the default setting within us. And, you know, we're kids, we're young, so we don't know any better. We believe what we're told about ourselves. We believe the narrative, and we breathe life into the narrative. And, you know, as children, we're very, very powerful with our imagination and creativity. So, you know, whatever is spoken into our life when young, our imagination will take it out the park. You know, so it can lead us to change the default setting, or it can lead us to silence the original default set within ourselves, the original skill set that we probably need now in our adult life, but we've forgotten how to get in touch with it, or we don't know how to get in touch with it, and we, you know, we don't want to take the necessary steps to unlock that gift, that skill, that potential, that what is required, you know. Sometimes you gotta read books, and certain books are gonna hit you at your core, and you're probably not gonna like it, but you know, if it hits you at your core, it's doing the job. Sometimes, you know, you may speak to a therapist or a life coach, you know, and they will work with you and ask you questions that will dig into those places that you didn't want to go to, but you need to go there in order to get to where you need to get to, you know. And this is all part of self growth and development, because yeah, everybody can see the amazing testimonial side of things on the outside when people have got to that place that they were trying to get to, and then they can hold it down to self growth and self development, having a life coach, or going to therapy, or reading certain books, or cutting off certain people, or moving to doing whatever they had to do, you know, to put in that work. You know, they can owe it to that, and other people could jump on board and be like, "Hey, that's great. I want to do the same thing too." But you know, you gotta understand and remember that, like anything in life, you're gonna have to graft hard, and it's gonna hurt. And the beautiful thing about going through personal growth and self dev is that although it's going to be real painful at some point and it's going to be really ugly at some point, there is this feeling where you are just free and you can turn around and just be like, yo, what was I worried for? Or yo, I'm so glad this has happened. Or it was needed. Or I get it now. Or, you know, it's like it's a feeling that is rewarding in itself, you know, but you have to go through the ugly. You have to go through the tough parts. You have to confront some demons, if you want to call it, truths, hidden truths. And not all truths are dark. You know, we just think that by doing this, we're going to go to a dark place. But not all things are dark. I mean, imagine if your inner child, your 8-year-old self, for example, is this lovely, happy-go-lucky, anything is possible, you know, smiling and dancing individual, right? And as an adult, you're just always serious. You always just look serious and hard-faced and super logical. And it feels like you have no, like you don't talk in a loving way that you expect someone to hear, right? Wouldn't it be amazing to be able to go back and see that person in your mind that's locked away inside you, and then just work on opening the door, hugging that individual, and then absorbing that into you, and then coming out more like that, and then that being the key ingredient that you needed to take it to the next stage of whatever you're trying to get done, because it required a level of compassion that you didn't understand because you'd locked it away. Do you know what I mean? Or what if it required a level of tenacity, hard workingness that you had were originally like, but again, you'd shut it down because you were told all the time, man, you don't never chill out, you don't ever relax. Like, why are you always busybody? Why can't you just stop? Nobody's gonna like you if you're too much of a busybody, you know. So you lock that person away. So now you just chilled, but you know you could do more. Imagine meeting that person within you, and then embracing that person, absorbing them into one, and now you are at your maximum potential of who you are, just because you did some work on yourself. You went digging within yourself. You got the support and help that would get you to where you were afraid to go by yourself. And now you found that person so you can take it to the next level. You know, you're going to get that with working on yourself, you know, and with working on yourself, you're going to break patterns. You're going to break a lot of patterns. You're going to realize that the reason why you keep going after people who ignore you and treat you like crap is because all you've had in your life is being treated like crap. So when somebody treats you real good, you don't know how to accept that because you're afraid. But the real genuine person deep down inside you loves that and just wants you to give it a chance. But you won't know that unless you go through some personal development, self-development, discovering and redefining yourself. You know, breaking patterns, breaking old bonds, breaking old links, clearing away spiritual blockages, clearing away negative energy. You won't know unless you start looking within and working within. And you know, you never stop working within, and it doesn't mean everything around you stops because you're working within. But you will notice that the more you do work on yourself and work within yourself, you don't have to stop a lot of things around you. You will just be uninterested, because if it's not who you are, you won't put that energy there anymore. If you're not about that woman, if you're not about that guy, you'll gradually just pull away, because you know that there's a pattern that you're following and not the individual that you think you're into. You know, so you know, for me, like I said, compassion is the word that, on the topic or the skill or the energy or whatever you want to call it, that I'm working on within myself, simply because I know that embracing more of that will help me get to the next stage. And obviously implementing boundaries, because the more you work on yourself and look inside yourself, the more you start seeing things about yourself that you don't want to be doing. Like if you know you're a people pleaser, and being a people pleaser means you don't get time to please yourself, then you'll start putting in boundaries, and you won't feel guilty for it, because how can you feel guilty for looking after yourself? Like if anybody tries to make you feel guilty looking after yourself, then they're the one with the problem, not you. So why would you feel guilty because you're taking time out for yourself? Why would you feel guilty because you're taking time out to look inside yourself, to find yourself and redevelop yourself, to protect yourself and also benefit yourself? So it's not selfish. Personal development, personal growth is not selfish. People who think it's selfish or think you're being selfish, they don't understand. And that's not your fault. That's for them. So yeah, look, I'd say, take time for yourself, man. Really, like I said, sometimes you might be stuck at a place in your life, and it may not be because you don't have the money. It may not be because you can't find the time. It may not be because you don't have the people around you. It may just mean that you're lacking an essential skill. But that essential skill is not always going to be financial. It's not always going to be physical. It might be just something internal. Something, I want to use the term spiritual because that's what's coming to my mind right now. But it might be a trait within you that you can bring to the surface, you can manifest to the surface, but it's going to require you to put whatever you're chasing on pause for just a moment, so you can go and find that thing within you, so you can read the books that are being sent to you. If you really stay quiet and listen, what you need in order to get to where you need to get to, or in order to find that quality within that you already have but has been locked away, you will be guided and directed to the resources required, or the people that are going to help you get that, or help you unlock that potential within you, so you can, again, like I said, ascend to the next level. But like I said, it's through personal growth, it's through development, it's through allowing yourself to experience that. It's also through giving yourself permission to do it, and don't be afraid. It's very, I think it's a courageous thing to do, working on yourself. You don't have to tell the whole world you're doing it. Like, the more you work on yourself, the more the whole world will see that you're working on yourself, because you will change naturally. But I think it's a brave thing. I think it's very important. But I'm not here to try and impose it on you. But, I think it's a brave thing. And I think it's one of the best things one can do for oneself, to really just take a journey and really look at yourself, look inside yourself, and bring out the person who you're really supposed to be, and not the person that people think you're supposed to be. Or not the perception that you think people think you should be either. A lot of people talk about being authentic, being your best version of yourself. I believe to be 100% authentic and to be the best version of yourself, it comes from really looking inside yourself, going through growth and development. People will say to you, just be yourself, you're fine as you are. You know what, I used to be like that, but then I realized, no, it's not always the case, because if you walk around saying, I'm just going to be myself and people need to accept me as myself, what you're kind of saying is, they're going to accept your strengths, great, but they have to accept your weaknesses, or the parts where you could be stronger, right? But you're choosing not to be stronger. That's what you're telling them to accept. And that's a limitation of who you can be. Because what you want to do is always work on all the areas and all the different muscle groups to make them as strong as possible. Not as strong as the other person. Not as strong as what you see in the magazines. Not as strong as what you see on TV. Not as much as what you hear on the radio or whatever. As strong as they can be, because like everybody's physical body is different. So muscle looks different on different body types and body shapes and heights. It's the same way different qualities of skills look different on different people, man. You know, we all have a unique thing about us. You know, even if it's you make me laugh, a lot of people make a lot of people laugh, but not in the same way. A lot of people hug a lot of people, but there is always that one person who hugs differently. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people out here motivational speaking. A lot of people out here trying to be inspirational speakers, which I'm trying to do. A lot of people trying to be a life coach. A lot of people doing this, a lot of the same thing. But not everybody sounds the same. And not everybody delivers the message in the same way, or not everybody can make other people relate to them exactly the same way. We all have a unique way of doing it. Anyway, so I don't keep yapping on. Yap, yakety yak, don't talk back and all that jazz. Look, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, hit the thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. If you want any tips on good books to read that I've read, you know, or decent life coach that I know about, or if you just want to pick my brain, drop a comment in the box below, or drop me an email. They'll drop me a message on my Instagram at the Life of Richie Rich. I'll drop it in the comment and I'll get back to you. Okay? Other than that, like I always say, live your life one step, one rep at a time. Think strong, be strong, and remember, impossible is nothing. Peace.